I'm former butler to King Charles the Third and Queen Camilla when they were Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall. What was fun for myself working for the royal family and learning a lot about their traditions was the fact that they do things religiously, a set way, year after year after year. And I think those traditions may, in the future, may change, but at the moment, as far as I'm aware, they're still the same traditions that Queen Elizabeth followed, her father followed, her grandfather followed, certainly going back as early as to the time of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, if not even earlier. And a lot of the traditions are actually to do with Queen Victoria's ancestry, which was obviously German. And a lot of their traditions come from German traditions, which is something that the royal family, obviously, in the past, that was where their ancestors were from. And they like to follow a lot of those traditions, as well as having the modern aspects to Christmas for the younger royals. They still follow those. And that's something I thought was quite fun, that they're quite strict about those traditions. As of now, they're still strict about them. And as I said, I'm very aware that the king follows those. And when you probably think, well, what kind of traditions am I referring to? I'm not talking about the times that obviously they'll go to the church or the traditional services. I'm talking about the things at the Christmas tree, even putting the Christmas trees up. And as we've seen the Christmas trees getting decorated, certainly at Windsor Castle, is a fantastic piece of footage of them putting the tree together. And these kind of traditions go back to Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, who were accredited to, originally were accredited to bring the Christmas tree to our home, and also having Christmas presents on Christmas Eve. So traditionally they would put out these trestle tables, and then obviously clothed and Christmasified, and then they would give gifts on Christmas Eve. And that is the tradition that's continued to this very day, where they still give those gifts. The only difference with those gifts is that famously, and it's been obviously well documented, that those gifts have now, from being sentimental and obviously precious things, have now turned into kind of jokey and funny gifts, where I believe that now the more sensible gifts are now given on Christmas Day. So it's allowed them to keep that old tradition and have a bit of fun with it while having an afternoon tea. Yeah, I remember the king would see things and he might say to one of the team, whether it be one of us or a valet or somebody, do you mind the next time you're out and about, can you get, because let's be realistic, it's easier for myself or a valet or that's the kind of two you probably ask, to go and get something, say from a department store or a high street store, normally with a royal warrant, I quickly add. It's easier for us to go in there than for him to go in. But on saying that, I do understand that Queen Camilla has been spotted Christmas shopping in the past. So I think you'll find that royal ladies do tend to go out themselves, where sometimes it's very typical, isn't it? Sometimes the men pass it on to somebody else to do, which I think a lot of men do regardless, don't they? Let alone royals. So that is what I think is something that, as I say, I know Queen Camilla is a very keen shopper, and as I say, you do spot her out and about. Was it not last year she was in Fulton Masons for something, and she was going around getting presents and things? So this is what they do, and it's the same with Catherine. But I think the younger royals, actually, in fairness to the Prince of Wales, are more likely to pop in to a shop and risk the fact of maybe getting spotted. But I remember Prince William was very good when he used to go out and about and go incognito with a baseball cap or a pair of shades or something, so it wasn't that obvious. Where I don't really see the king with a baseball cap and a pair of shades, with the greatest of respect. I just don't see him doing that. So it's easier for him to then say to one of the team to do that. So it's 50-50, what I'm trying to say. Some of them do it themselves, some of them ask one of the team members to go and do it on their behalf, or even another family member to do it on their behalf. The Christmas dinner was, so it was interesting. And I know this because the reason I know about the Christmas dinner is because one of my friends was the Queen's chef and was telling me about the Christmas dinner. And it sounded, and what they would do is obviously, so the late Queen had quite a strict set of things that she would do. And I think the King does the same, because the King's quite religious and the Queen was religious. And the Queen famously would go to church first thing in the morning. Not the one that we all see her go to. She'd go even earlier for a private service. And then she'd return home and have, obviously, breakfast, as the rest of the royal family would do. Because remember, the church is you could just walk across, you could just walk across, but it wasn't far from Sandringham to get to that's where you see them walking, because it's just, I remember just being across the lawn. And obviously they'd have their breakfast, and then after the breakfast, the royal family get changed, then go to church, come back from church. They'll then all be off for the drink when they get back. And then obviously then they'll have, I believe, a 3-course lunch. And it's all, it's a bit like what we have. It's certainly turkey is definitely on the menu. The chef I spoke to told me that they would also offer, I think it was goose, and believe it or not, boar's head. But this is years ago. I don't know if that's still on the menu, but that's what they used to have. So the point was they'd have a selection of kind of things that would be offered. And obviously the starter and a traditional Christmas pudding, which we saw the Queen doing with Queen Elizabeth II with little George back in the day. And then they would have their lunch. Then obviously, you're getting to 2:30, aren't you? 2:30. So then you get near the speech. Obviously they're going to do the speech.
As the famous Christmas carol, Once in Royal David's City, reminds us,
I was made to believe that the royal family do watch it, and I was also given the information that everybody was made aware of, that the Queen would go and watch it in a separate room. I was told that as well. Now, as for the King, I don't see him going into a separate room to watch it. I think most likely that they will watch it, and whoever's in the room at the time will all watch it together.